Welcome to the Possibility Action Network podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Middleton, aka Possibility Man. We are committed to bringing you guests who strive to better people's lives and serve as a force for good in the world. Our guest today is Montel Hardin. He is the founder of Hardin Athletics. His niche is men's health and fitness. He helps busy guys get in shape and have fun while doing it. Montel, welcome to the show today.
How you doing? I am excited to be here, man. Excited.
Well, that's fantastic because I got a lot of questions to ask you. But first, I want to make this program note. Your support matters. Follow, like, and share this podcast wherever you find it. Our sponsor information is below the description of this show. Montel, back to you. How are things in Alabama these days?
They are well. They're good. We just got back from a vacation for my wife's birthday in Florida. I know when we spoke originally, I was in Florida, but we just got back, been here for the week and really just gearing up for the new year. You already know the health and fitness space. This is a busy time of year. So all hands on deck with that, but doing well.
That's fantastic. Look, I know what you do now, but I want to roll back for just a little bit. This is the Possibility Action Network, but you're in athletics now. But as a kid growing up, did you see yourself doing what you do now?
Yeah, so I would say I definitely didn't. I also had no clue what I really wanted to do. When I was 17, senior in high school, I had to pick my major. And that's where the first time that I really had to think about it. And I just went with marketing. I was like, I can't think of anything specific, but I always had the vision of maybe it would be cool to walk around in a suit every day and be on the 105th floor of a building in Chicago running a marketing team or something like that. I was like, that sounds kind of cool. Let me do that. And I ended up actually getting my degree in that. So I guess I use it, but I'm definitely not in a suit every day in a high rise building. But throughout my life, I've always been very active, play basketball, football, always out running around. So activity has always been a big part of my life. But I definitely can't tell you that I wanted to work in the health and fitness space when I was a kid.
I got you. So, what was your college experience like? Did you play ball there? Did you do any sports there? And what was that like for you, college?
Yeah, no, I was done. I was done in high school. But college was I honestly did not like college at all. Once I got there, I realized because my mindset once again was going in, I was like, I'm gonna get to learn all this stuff about marketing and running a business and all these different things. And I got there, and you know how it is. I think you were a professor, right? Or yeah.
Yes,
So
that's correct.
yeah, so you get your first schedule and it's geometry and English and all this stuff. I was like, man, I thought I was done with this out of high school. And that really just kind of took a lot of the sting out of it for me. And I actually really just kind of went with the motions for a while. And I was jumping up at 7:55 right before my 8 o'clock and running straight to class and napping anytime I got a chance, eating whatever. And one day I was like, man, you know what? Like, I'm really not getting what I want to get out of this experience. How can I get myself out of this rut? Because I've been used to my whole life being extremely active, playing sports, running around with friends, all that. And now I get to college where this is supposed to be the highlight of somebody's life. And I'm spending the whole day in the dorm room, sleep, and basically sulking that I don't enjoy the process. So I was like, you know what? Let me go try out the weight room down in the facility. Obviously, you got the gym at the college campus. Let me try that out. Went in there, had no clue what I was doing. Felt, and because at this time I was 140, 145 pounds. I'm 5'9", so I'm not terribly short, but when you're only 140 something pounds, you look kind of small, especially on a college campus where you have the 6'4" quarterback and the 250-pound lineman and all that were walking around. So I was definitely intimidated, but I actually enjoyed the process of, working out, moving my body, feeling the muscles move, all that stuff. So then I decided I would start going to the gym consistently. And I would start waking up at 5 a.m. right when the gym opened and start working out in there. Still didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I like the feeling. I like the fact that I'm doing something productive that at least I think is positive for my body and for my health. And I just kind of catapulted everything. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into the whole health and fitness space, because even though I was active a lot, I never really linked the activity to the health and fitness space until I started using it for my own mental health, for my own physical transformation. Once I started to add some muscle and started to kind of develop these new lifestyle habits, I started to feel 10 times better. And I just kind of wanted, everybody to feel that way.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So tell me more. You mentioned you discovered that it was good for your mental health and your physical transformation. Tell me more about that. What was that like for you, before and after picture?
Yeah. So before, like I said, I was uh definitely unconfident, even though at the time I didn't realize. And I think a lot of guys that I talk to are this way. We always think we're confident because, as a man, you're just not supposed to say that you lack confidence or you're self-conscious and all those things. But looking back, I definitely wasn't very confident, didn't want to take certain opportunities, didn't want to talk to certain people, didn't want to go to certain places, all these different things. This is how I was coming into this new, environment where I didn't know anybody and I had to basically recreate myself, but I didn't really have any confidence to do that. And also on the health side of things, everybody kind of looks at somebody that's slender or maybe leaner, and you look at them and you think that they're healthy. But that's not the case at all. I used to have migraines every single day. My digestion was terrible. I felt when I was 18, I might have looked skinny or slim, but I felt like I was 38. My energy was terrible. My energy was very low. And motivation wise, I did not want to do anything other than the bare minimum: go to class, eat, come back. And that was literally all I wanted to do throughout, the first little bit of being in college. But once I started, you know, working out, eating healthier foods. Like I'm meal prepping in a college dorm room, and we're trying to figure out, what workouts to do. And I say, hey, I want to build up my chest and my arms and things like that because I'm really slim or really skinny here. And I had, I guess, a vision and a goal, something that only I was responsible for, but at the same time, I had complete control over that. So I think mentally that helped me realize, like, man, you can, dig yourself out of any situation. You can reinvent yourself. You can upgrade yourself any way that you want to, as long as you're willing to put in the work. And that the lessons that I got from putting on, I think over a 2.5 year time frame, put on about 45 pounds of lean muscle, which is no easy feat at all. And over that time frame, just was like, hey, you know what? I think that, I want to develop this mindset across every aspect of life, whether that be, business, relationships, whatever it is. I want the mindset of, hey, anything that I want to accomplish, as long as I'm willing to put in the work and be smart about it, I can get it done.
That's interesting. So I'm curious, where do you think the spark to transform yourself came from? What would you identify? What was the switch that flipped for you?
Yeah. Um, if I had to pick one specific incident, I think it would be my first day of school and on the college campus. My first day of school or college, I was walking, trying to find my classes. I probably didn't know where to go. Probably didn't know what building to go to. You know how it is the first day. And I remember already feeling kind of nervous about the fact that, like, man, this is a big campus and I don't know where I'm going. And then I walked past a group of guys that are, like I said earlier, you're talking about the 6'4" small forward and the big quarterback. And like, these are the guys that all the girls are going to want to talk to, and they're not going to pay little old me, this skinny slender guy, doesn't play sports, doesn't have anything going for him, he's just there, not going to pay me any attention. And it wasn't necessarily about the girls, because I've never necessarily been huge on that, but it was more so like the, hey, like, you have nothing that stands out about you. Like, you're very average, mediocre, below average. Like, what can you do that will help you stand out in some type of way? What can you do that will help you feel more confident standing next to anybody? And that was just kind of one of the things that I stumbled on, along with developing mindset, specific mindset habits. Also, when I was working on my physique and my body, I was also trying to figure out how to discipline myself, trying to figure out things like meditation and affirmations, goal setting, all of these things is what I was trying to figure out. So I was trying to kind of reinvent myself physically and mentally. But the biggest catalyst was definitely standing next to people that made me feel insecure in myself. And instead of, beating myself up about it or blaming them, I decided to put it all on me and kind of make a change from there.
Well, I got to tell you, Montel, those are huge insights coming from a college student, what you've been sharing. But your niche is very specific. Your focus is men's health. How did you know that's where you wanted to go in your next phase of physical fitness and development?
Yep. Yeah, that's funny because I've spent a long time coaching women and men. My wife owns the women's side of our, fitness coaching company. And while I do enjoy coaching women, there's just a different in men. I see a lot of myself, the same issues that I dealt with, the same struggles that I had. I see them much more easily in guys. And I just feel like I ultimately connect with guys a lot better, pretty much due to the fact that I think we share similar struggles, or we share similar mindsets. We have similar goals that we want to accomplish. But most of all, it's because I feel like we need it the most. I feel like there's not a lot of opportunities for guys to really say like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with and I need help in this area, whether that be mental health, physical health, maybe in their relationships, whatever the case may be. We're just kind of always told to suck it up, and you shouldn't have emotions, or you shouldn't feel a certain way, especially when it comes to physically. But there's a mindset that guys shouldn't really care about what they look like. That's vain, that those type of things should matter. But I've been on maybe 3,000 different conversations and phone calls where guys are like, hey, somebody, I went to an event and everybody was calling me fat and overweight, and they were saying I gained weight, and I just had to laugh it off. But in reality, I was devastated by that. In reality, that really hurt me. And for me, I know exactly how that is because I never told anybody how insecure I felt about my body, or how I stacked up against other people, but I felt it on the inside. So I know that a lot of other guys are struggling with that, and that's kind of my mission, is to help guys that are struggling with that kind of overcome it.
That's fantastic. Look, I want to isolate a few things and ask you about what you've learned and then what you share. Are you willing to play this game for me?
Oh yeah,
You've,
let's do it.
you've already thrown out the first topic, so I want to go back to it. And the game, once again, is what you've learned and what you're learning and what you are sharing about these topics. The first one is mindset, learning, and what you share.
Got you. So I guess the biggest thing I've learned about mindset is that it's everything. Like, whatever goal you want to accomplish, whatever struggle you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, ultimately your mindset determines how well you adapt to that situation, or how well you grow. Like, being a business owner, or running a podcast, or trying to get your career off the ground or build your career, whatever. I think everybody looks for the hacks and the tricks and the tips, like practicality. But ultimately, I think most of it comes down to how bad do you want it, how disciplined are you willing to be, um, how focused and how locked in can you stay, how positive can you keep your mind, how introspective can you be. So I guess I would say, even though that might be kind of like a left field answer from what you asked, I think mindset is everything. And ultimately, whatever you want to succeed in life, or whatever you're going through, your mindset will get you through it.
Oh, great. Okay. Secondly, purpose, learning and sharing.
For me personally, I learned that my purpose was in helping people. I remember, which I made a post about this on LinkedIn a few, maybe like a week ago or something. How I worked at a furniture store, and that was one of my first jobs out of college. And I remember every day feeling so unfulfilled by the fact that the best thing that I could have done that day was to sell somebody a living room set. Like, that's the most value that I could have put out in the world that day, as a result of what I was spending 40 plus hours a week doing. And I remember just thinking to myself and talking to my girlfriend at the time, now wife, like, man, like, I feel like I'm meant to do more than this. I feel like I'm meant to help people. Like, I've always wanted to help people. I'm the friend that everybody talks to when they got problems, or if they, hit a milestone in their life, they text or call me or whatever, because I'm just that type of guy. Like, that's always kind of been what fuels me, is like, hey, I want to help people on a large scale. And that's kind of what drew me into trying to make health and fitness a living, because even though I got my body in great shape, I still spent 2 or 3 years not really living in my purpose. Even though I knew that's ultimately what I wanted to do, I was kind of afraid to jump into it. But that was one of the turning points for me. It was like, hey, you know what? Your purpose is to help people. So you need to figure out the best way to do that. And I feel like this is one of the best ways.
That's great. Okay, the third item, or third topic, adversity and resilience. What have you learned? What are you learning? And what are you sharing?
So what I've learned with adversity is that it's going to come at every stage of the journey. When you're first starting something up, whether that be a fitness journey, whether it be a new relationship, whether it be a business, every step of the journey will have its new adversities. And honestly, the further you go, the bigger the adversities become. So trying to figure out how to weather those storms instead of being, thrown off or getting emotional about it, which I'm speaking from experience. When I first started my own fitness journey and things weren't going fast enough, I got upset. When I started my business and things weren't building fast enough, I got upset. But over time, I realized that you have to embrace the adversity instead of run away from it. And that's kind of what I share. Like, there's a lot of setbacks that you might have in a fitness journey. If you're trying to lose 30 pounds, you might invest in a coach or start going to the gym or whatever, and then your car breaks down, or you have some fires to put out in your business or in your company, or your kid gets sick. Like, all these different things that could be seen as adversities, and you can either, fold and shrink in the adversity, or you can rise above it. So I think that's something that I try to share a lot. Like, more times than not, you have the ability to rise above that adversity. You just have to think you do.
Look, I hear a lot of wisdom coming out of you, man. I'll tell you. So I want to ask this last topic of you. You've thrown it out already. I was surprised. I've got to tell you, I was surprised to see this word in your profile. You're a young man and everything, and I'm thinking, whoa, boy, this guy must have some wisdom or something. And the word is relationships, because you are learning something. If what I've read, you are sharing some things about this. Tell us about it. Learning and sharing.
In relationships, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I don't necessarily like to put labels on myself, but I think most people will probably quantify me as a more introverted person, which I might be kind of crazy considering I'm on social media, talking every day, on live streams, all that stuff. But I have a relatively, small circle of friends, family, and I think that's why relationships are so important to me, because I've never cared about having a lot of friends or having this big, huge network. I'm not like I'm not gonna be the life of anybody's party. That's just not my mindset. So for me, I'm all about intentional relationships with people, whether they be my friends, my family members, my wife, whatever the case may be. Like, I want to go above and beyond for everybody that's in my life. And then eventually my clients, when they come into my program, they become a part of that circle for me, and I want to go above and beyond for them. But I think that what I share kind of in relation to health and fitness when it comes to relationships, I think that the way that you see yourself, I think the way that you feel about yourself, I think your energy levels, your confidence, all of this plays a direct impact into how you're going to treat the people in your life. Especially if you have kids. I think your kids, which I have a 4 month old now, so I'm very new to the game. But I think how you feel about yourself, it's going to manifest itself with how you raise your kids more than probably anything. Probably how you treat your spouse, and then how you raise your kids. How you feel about yourself plays a huge factor. So fixing the relationship with yourself, whether that means you need to stop emotionally eating, you need to get up and get active, you need to improve your body, you need to, start actually liking the man or the woman that you see in the mirror, fixing that relationship with yourself first. And then you can start fixing it and building it and having something great with everybody else. And it just makes you, I think it just kind of sets you up for a great life when you have all these relationships that you just truly love. They're pouring into you. You're pouring into these relationships. I think it's the best way to go.
Wise words indeed. Congratulations on that 4-month-old, you said.
Thank you. 4 months. She'll be 4 months in like 4 days
Oh,
on December 10th.
that's fantastic. How is she sleeping at night?
She is sleeping well at night. She sleeps pretty much maybe 11 o'clock to 6, 7. So a good stretch. And then she wakes up at 6 a.m. laughing and yelling and wanting to play. So yeah, she
That's
gets
great. That's great. So look, I'm going to shift a little bit to your training programs. I know that you offer what you call a health and fitness challenge. What is that? Tell us about that.
yeah. So I think it's the 6 week challenge that we had talked about last week. I think that it's important to, if you've been very off track in your health and fitness, something I see in guys a lot is they'll try to jump up on, we got New Year's coming up, in a few weeks. A lot of guys are going to try to jump up and go straight to the workouts they used to do when they were 25 years old, or when they were a 21-year-old in their football, workouts, or whatever the case may be. And you, at your current rate, at your current pace, where you spent the entire year on the couch, maybe year plus on the couch, and you had no clue what to eat and you just ate whatever, it's going to be hard for you to go from 0 to 100 like that. So our challenge is specifically designed to help guys that have fallen completely off the wagon ease their way back into things. Because the last thing you want to do is go full tilt day one, week one, and then you can't get out of bed the next week, and you ate bland, boring food all week, and you don't want to do it again next week, and you start for a week and then you stop, which is what most people do on January 1 and the following weeks. So that challenge is designed to help you create a foundation around your activity, get you moving more, help you understand, what movements you specifically need to be doing. And then from a nutrition aspect, help you figure out what foods you need to be kind of taking out of your diet, and then what foods you need to be adding in. And then most of all, just having somebody in your corner for 6 weeks, making sure that you get it done, which is obviously where I come in. I come in with the strategy as well, but I always tell people you can get the strategy from anywhere. You can Google a strategy. At the end of the day, if you're really struggling, you need some accountability, and you need somebody that knows what dials to turn when things go wrong or when things plateau. And that's what that 6 week challenge is about.
Yeah, I hear you. So is the 6 week challenge the same as the 6 weeks cut?
Or yeah, same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Yep.
So you also offer some fitness tips, and I don't want you to give us too long of a list, but what are some of your top 3 fitness tips that you would say someone can implement in their life today?
Yeah, for sure. So I specifically help people that are, looking to drop about 30 to 60 pounds of body fat, build lean muscle, improve their health markers, blood pressure, A1C, insulin, all those different things. And when it comes to those 3 things, I would say the 3 most important things are to walk every single day. This is the world's greatest exercise. I would say 5 to 10,000 steps a day is what you want to get, which is roughly 30 to 60 minutes of walking a day. You can break that up. You can do some in the morning, some in the afternoon, some in the evening. You can do it all in one big bout. But the biggest thing is just get more active throughout your day. Our body really responds well to consistent activity. Sitting at a desk all day, every day has become a lot of our lifestyles, and your body's metabolism literally plummets with that type of lifestyle. So get up every couple of hours or so, or just take a couple of laps around the office. If you're working in an office, if you're working from home, maybe try and step outside and get something in. But consistent walking is key. And then 2 is going to be the strength training. Muscle is the fountain of youth. Muscle keeps our energy high. It keeps you toned up. It keeps you lean because it increases your metabolism, helps you burn body fat, keeps you just feeling good. Honestly, you feel strong, you feel energetic, you feel like actually doing things. And muscle is one of the best ways to go. And that's why I don't like the mindset of just trying to lose weight. I actually think pretty much everybody should be doing whatever they can to put on muscle, because you're going to lose weight in the process, which will also look a lot better and feel a lot better as a result. And then the third thing would be to just eat whole food. Sometimes it's very difficult. There's so many misconceptions about what diet is the best or what you should and shouldn't eat. To me, if you're focusing on eating real food, like, you know, what they were eating in the Bible and you know, in the Old Testament. If you're eating those type of foods, and not Cheetos and honey buns and cakes and cookies and Dr. Peppers, if you can kind of get those things out of the way and just eat real foods from real animals and real plants, you can get your body healthy. So those would be my three things: walking, lifting weights, and eating whole foods.
Right. That's fantastic. So I'm going to spend a little more time now about nutrition. You've mentioned whole foods. So are you agnostic as in terms of which nutrition plan, or is there one? What do you have a favorite nutrition plan?
I would say no. Ultimately, like I said, that to me, everything falls under the umbrella of whole foods. And then on a specific client basis, now I might say, hey, you know what? Well, your body really doesn't respond well to a lot of carbohydrates. So let's limit your carb intake a little bit. Or for another person, it might be your gut. For broccoli, for example, everybody knows that broccoli is a quote unquote healthy food, but everybody's body doesn't respond to things like broccoli or asparagus or greens or whatever the same way. So maybe for one person, it's great that they're getting in these leafy greens and these, you know, cruciferous carbs. But for another person, it might be detrimental. It might have them bloated and feeling sluggish and maybe blocked up more. So it's on a per client basis. One, I have some clients that they're essentially doing keto, and I have other clients that are more carnivore, and some clients that we're gearing everything towards their hormonal health. So on a per client basis, but that's why I don't subscribe to any one thing, because every person's body is different, and we all need different things.
Yeah. You've written about 7 foods that are must-haves. What are they? Those 7
Oh
must-have
man, you put me
foods.
on the spot. You put me on the
Look,
spot.
I did my research now, found it in your profile, but what are some of them?
Um, I would say you need your proteins. The proteins that I would lean towards would be salmon, some form of lean beef, whether that be steak, lean ground beef, which I know kind of gets a bad rap these days because everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't eat red meat, but there's a lot of vital nutrients inside red meat, so definitely do that. Chicken, even something like tilapia, those would probably be the 4 proteins that I would go with. Carbohydrates, I would say rice and potatoes, sweet potatoes specifically. They're great carbs for energy. Carbs are supposed to be for energy. So when you're more active, you're supposed to eat more carbs. When you're less active, you're supposed to eat less carbs. That's a little precursor for those that think that carbs are the enemy. It's just that if you're not moving enough, they're not really going to be that beneficial for you. But if you're getting active like you're supposed to, they will be. So those would be the 2 carbs. And then fruits and vegetables, definitely berries. A lot of great antioxidant content inside raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever ends with a berry. You should have it in your diet consistently. And then vegetable wise, I would go probably maybe broccoli, asparagus, kale, spinach. These foods all have an ingredient called choline, which actually eats away at visceral fat buildup inside the midsection. So you can actually spot reduce body fat with a consistent diet of these foods, should your body respond well to them. So that's what I add. I know I probably left some stuff off of the original 7, but I like those.
Right, right. So look, I'm going to prove you. I did my research before coming out to talk with you. You've also talked about codes. In fact, you were specific. 3 codes for fat loss. 3 codes for fat. You wrote about it. You talked about it. I think it's a fair question. What are they? Those 3 codes for fat loss.
3 codes for fat loss. Man, when did I write that?
I didn't make that up.
I think building lean muscle is one of the best things that you can do to drop body fat. I think that, you know, having a whole food based diet is what we should, you know, which is what we talked about earlier. That's one of the best things that you can do. And drinking water and moving consistently. I think those are probably be my 3 codes. I think I talk about those 3 things in a different variety of ways all the time, but to make it as simple as absolutely possible, I think those would be the 3 things that I really want people to lean towards.
Yeah. And, a lot of people may think that, they want to get fit and lose weight, become healthier, and not make any changes in the kitchen. Would you say would you recommend that? Or would you recommend, look, consider making some changes in the kitchen while you do those other things?
Yeah, it's funny because, like you said, that's what everybody kind of leans towards. And during the new year, everybody wants to go try and get a personal trainer or figure out what workouts to do. But my mindset is you should try and get nutrition dialed in first. That's what everybody runs away from. But think about it this way: you can work out as hard as you possibly could, work yourself out to exhaustion, and burn 500 calories. Two slices of pizza will replace every single calorie you burn inside that workout. And two slices of pizza takes what? I know for me, it might take me 30 seconds to eat two slices of pizza. So yeah, you replace that, you talk about 4 or 5 hours of working out compared to a couple of minutes of bad food decisions, and everything is a wash. So nutrition is a huge, huge factor because we eat much more than we go and work out. So just by the law of averages, more bad decisions in your nutrition are gonna outweigh good decisions in your activity.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So tell me about your work as a life coach and trainer today, especially in this COVID environment. How do you work with clients, Montel?
Yeah, so it's a lot like this Zoom right here. A lot of conversations over video, over chat. Um, what we do typically when somebody comes into our program, we get a basic assessment. We figure out what their schedule is like, where their body is, any health markers that we need to address. We figure out all these things, and then we create a game plan that fits all of the metrics that they need to fit. And then we execute it. We explain to them like, hey, our testosterone is a little bit low. So these are the foods that we want to implement. These are the lifestyle habits that we want to implement. Hey, we really want to, watch your stress levels because that plays into your hormonal balance. I know for women, it's honestly the same thing. Same concept. Stress affects our hormones. It affects our gut. It affects our mindset, everything. So lowering stress, figuring out, hey, what morning routines can we implement? What nighttime routines can we implement? Everybody talks about the morning routine, but the nighttime routine is really what matters because you got to be able to get enough sleep to where you can actually do the morning routine. So they come in and we talk about that. We figure that out. And then from there, once we put the game plan together, now I'm on you like white on rice to make sure that you execute it. We're checking in every single week. We're having a one-on-one Zoom call multiple times a month. We're doing weigh-ins. We're doing progress photos. We're updating our health metrics, everything like that. And as those things are being done, we're making a little tweak here, a little tweak there, so that we continue to make progress over the course of the 6 months or 12 months or however long we're working together. But that's basically the process. We get all the information we need, and then we build you out a program, and then we hold you to it.
And that sounds wonderful. I mean, COVID certainly, at least in my mind, has shown us that we can do a lot of things at home and on Zoom, and we don't necessarily need to go to a brick and mortar building because your work is mainly online, is it not?
For sure. I would say 95%, if not more. So yeah.
That's great. There are no excuses, right, Montel? No excuses. You can do some work at home, get on Zoom with someone like yourself and get it done. Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. And with this work from home culture that we have, I think it's very important that, people realize that because I think we've gotten a lot more sedentary throughout the pandemic. While there are a lot of benefits to working from home or having, I guess location independent employment, there's a lot of benefits to that. There's also a lot of downsides. There you can be on a Zoom call from your bed, or you can spend an entire day, which I know I can speak for myself. Working from home means that maybe a 8-hour workday turns into a 16-hour workday because you didn't have to leave. Nobody's turning the office lights off. Nobody's locking up. So you end up working too much, and it kind of messes with your physical and mental health as well. So getting up and getting active and making it a priority is especially important working from home.
Yeah. Hey, Montel, you've worked with a lot of clients. Can you share some of your, let's say, top 2 or 3 success stories?
Yeah, I got you. So we have actually it's a woman that I've worked with. We're actually still working together. Her name is Charity Waters. If you're watching this or listening to this, Charity, what up? She's probably one of the best transformations and I guess some of the best work that we've done. She came into the program wanting to lose a good amount of weight, but most of all, she had a lot of health issues going on. We were on blood pressure medication. We were pre-diabetic. we had thyroid issues, we had a lot of hormonal imbalance issues. Like we were not really in a good spot at all. But over the course of her program, the first 6 or 7 months, we were able to get her down about 40 pounds of body fat. We were able to get her completely off of her blood pressure medication. We were able to regulate her thyroid hormonal health levels, which for guys too, but for women especially, this is a hormone that really impacts their weight. It impacts their health. It impacts their energy. It impacts all these different metabolism things. So we were able to regulate that. And she just talks all the time about feeling like a new woman. She went from not really being able to do anything physically to racing her son, her 12-year-old son down the street. And she was like, she stopped after that and she just started crying. And her son didn't really understand why she was so emotional. He's like, oh, is it because I beat you? Like, no, it's because I realized that a year ago, I would have never been able to race my son down the street. And that's one of the most impactful things that I feel like I've ever done is the work that we've been able to do together. And then the second would be my client Sean, which I actually still work with, and he probably would definitely be listening to this podcast. So what is up, Sean? So we started working together, and he had a similar situation on the hormonal side of things. Testosterone was extremely low. He was in a bad spot in that area. He was about 60, 70 pounds overweight, just feeling terrible every single day. And we, over the course of I think it was 7 or 8 months, over the course of the 8 months, we were able to get those levels back to where they needed to be and get him more energetic, we added on about 14 pounds of lean muscle. We dropped 60 plus pounds of body fat. But most of all, he kind of created a new lifestyle where he was, lazy. He wasn't doing anything activity wise. He didn't even know what workouts to do really. And now we've basically built him a full scale gym in his house because he likes the process. He likes working out so much. He likes challenging himself in a way that it makes him feel. So that's a big thing that we were able to accomplish. And Sean's one of the most fun clients I've ever worked with. So those two stories really pop out.
Those are great stories. I also came across something, Montel, where there was a caption from you. I'm quoting now: exercise makes you money. And I thought, what is he talking about? What were you talking about?
Yeah, that one is obviously indirectly. Nobody's cutting you a check after you do a workout, but indirectly, I think exercise makes you a lot of money, or more money because of the ancillary habits that are going to happen as a result of you. Let's say you get up and you do a 5 a.m. workout. Now you did a 5 a.m. workout. So now you're going to go and eat a high quality breakfast. All of these things are going to skyrocket your energy and are also going to skyrocket your confidence because we all feel good. That feeling that you get, guys, if you're listening, guys or girls, if you're listening and think about like, hey, I actually do feel pretty good after a workout. I feel pretty accomplished. I feel, like I can do more stuff, but it's because of the dopamine and oxytocin release in our brain when we get through the workout. You get these hormones secreted and it makes us feel accomplished. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel energetic. It makes us feel like we've done something good for ourselves. So now when you go out into the world feeling that way, you're going to approach your job differently. You're going to approach if you have a sales, maybe like a sales role, you're going to come with more energy, more enthusiasm, more confidence to your prospects. If you run a company and you need to, talk to staff and, communicate with them, you're going to have, better interaction so that they're going to have better interactions with you. And everybody's just going to be more productive as a result of that little 30-minute workout that you did at 5 a.m. It doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I promise you everything about your life will 10x if you can make that a consistent habit.
I like it. I buy it actually. So yeah. So look, in addition to your work as a life coach and a physical fitness trainer, you also host a podcast show. First question: what is the name of your show? Secondly, what prompted you to start it?
Yeah, so it's just my name, Montel Hardin Podcast. And one of the biggest things that prompted the start of it was conversations like these that we're having now, really trying to help people develop an in-depth understanding of training, nutrition, their body, why they're feeling the way they're feeling, why they're thinking the way they're thinking. But then just to talk about other things that I want to talk about as well. And that's why I didn't name it something health and fitness specific, because I'm, even though I am in this space, I'm not the workout junkie health nut, like this mindset that a lot of people have around, people in the health and fitness space. I'm not like that. I have plenty of life and plenty of interests outside of going to the gym and meal prepping. So I also want to talk about things like, what we talked about earlier, relationships and making money, building wealth, parenthood, any and everything that I feel is, I guess I'm in the realm of self-improvement. Anything that can improve me as a person in any aspect of life, any area that I occupy. I like to have conversations around that. So that's kind of what the podcast is about.
Fantastic. Well, look here, I certainly have enjoyed our conversation about all of the things that you're engaged in. Is there anything else you care to share with us that we have not already touched upon?
And I think we touched on some nuggets for sure. I would say that New Year coming up, if you have some goals that you're looking to accomplish, start today. Don't wait till New Year's to start. Start today. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Go look up a 10-minute workout on YouTube. Start trying to do at least what you think might be healthy eating. The reason I say that is because you want to create a mindset of doing things now and getting in front of things as opposed to pushing it off, because that's the mindset that we've probably created for a long time now. So just whatever you want to accomplish, don't wait on it. Start it today, and you'll be glad that you did.
That's a great suggestion, Montel, for sure. Enjoyed having you today, for sure. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great time. Great questions. I'm glad that we did.
you've been listening to the Possibility Action Network podcast. Our guest today has been Montel Hardin, founder of Hardin Athletics. I'm your host, Stephen Middleton. Until next time, good day.
You are not alone, just keep on.